The sufferings of the Lord Jesus Christ are almost inexplainable. Before his crucifixion, he went to Getsêmani, and there he prayed. Today we're going to read from Matthew chapter 26. Begin reading at verse 36. Then Jesus came with them to a place called Getsêmani, and said to his disciples, "Sit there while I go and pray over there." And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and he began to be sorrowful and deeply distressed. Then he said to them, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful even to death. Stay here and watch with me." He went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will." Then he came to the disciples and found them sleeping, and said to Peter, "What? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Again, a second time he went away and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if this cup cannot pass away from me, unless I drink it, your will be done." And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. So he left them and went away again, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then he came to his disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." And now here is Arie ben David. Arie was born here in Israel and has spent his lifetime studying Bible culture and New Testament times. Let's listen as Brother Arie teaches us concerning the sufferings of Christ.
We just have heard what is the name of this place, Getsêmani. And in Hebrew, Getsêmanim. I repeat, Getsêmanim. If you want to translate it, it is oil press. Again, oil press in Hebrew, Getsêmanim. In John, we read, in Gospel of John, right, we read that Jesus liked to come to this place. It was one of these beloved places by Jesus, and Judah knew it. Why? Because all around us here, we see God's creation. All the olive trees that were there in the mountain, in the middle, the wood, the stones, everything was God's creation. It wasn't like in the temple that it was Herod the Great creation. And Jesus liked to be around God's creation, around him. Let us see a little bit of what is the meaning of place like this. What is the meaning of Getsêmani or oil press? You know, the olive may be the most important fruit in ancient time. When you get the fruits, they are on the trees. If you pick them and put them in your mouth, you cannot eat them. You want to vomit them. They have a kind of material, we call it tannin, which gives you a reflex of vomit. These are the olive, not like any other fruit. I mean, you can take the fig, you can take the fig fruit, right? You can take from the grapes, you can take and eat. Everyone you can take it in, not the olive. Just let us remember this. We are like olives. We are like olives. We look nice maybe, but if God is taking us before doing something with us, He will vomit us. Now, in order to get something from the olive tree, we have to bring it to this place. Actually, we have here 3 different components. The first component, we will just go there and see what it is. It's where you take the olives and you crush them. Now, you crush them as they are, with the fat, with the cell inside. You crush with very heavy, big stone. Only after we crush them, then we take the olives and we put them into sack, and I'm going to show you in a minute the sack. You fill the sack, and then you take the sack and put them one on the other, and you raise heavy stones to load on them. This is example of one of the sack. Imagine that after the olives are total crushed, you take them with your hand, and again the fat and the cell and everything that you get, and fill it here all the way over in the sack. Put the sack under very heavy weight by lifting the stones up. When these stones are lifting up, they want to go down back to the ground, and they are pushing very strong this log of wood. Now this is the pressure that is done in order to get what? To get the oil get out of the sack. The oil get out of the crushed olives. When this work is done, very interesting, at night. Why? During the day, you are crushing the olives with the stone, you fill the sack, you lift up the stones, and you go home. And during night, the stones wanted to go down. They are pressing all the night over. And then as they are pressing, the oil is getting out of the sack, out of the crushed material, and fill a cup. When Jesus was here in this place, he was crushed. He was pressed. Imagine what is the meaning to come to a place like this by night, to hear all the sounds of the crushing, the sounds of the wood and the stone, everything is cracking, is pressing. Imagine just the noise of the drops of the oil that comes one by one, filling the cup. And imagine one by one. It means a long pressing, a long suffering. It's not just filling a cup in a spring and it's ready, it's full. It is drop by drop. And Jesus said, if this cup can be taken from me. And here comes the real question. What is this cup? Why Jesus wanted it to be taken from him? No doubt, the hardest thing in this place, in this situation, was that God has to hide his face from his Son. We have very, very important subject, the hidden face of God. What is the meaning that God is hiding his face? And we will talk about it in another meeting. But here we have to understand that for Jesus to have this meaning that God has to hide his face from him, just because Jesus took on himself all the iniquity, all the not cleanness, uncleanness of this world. And God, the Holy One, had to hide himself. And for Jesus, this was the hardest thing. Not like we, that so many things we are doing instinctively. Yeah, we get a telephone. Can we meet tomorrow? Yes, we meet tomorrow. With Jesus, it never worked like this. It was 100% with the will of his Father. So he was 100% controlled by the will of his Father. If you will come to him, he might say, no, this is not the hour. If you ask him, no, it's not the time yet. Like the mother wanted a miracle, right? She wanted wine in the first miracle in Cana. Remember the story. Jesus said, no, it's not my time yet. So he was synchronized 100% with the will and the timing and everything of his Father. And for the first time here, he had to be separated. This was too hard. Please, Lord, if this cup can be taken from me. And actually, as we know, this cup was not taken. Opposite. This is the agony here of Getsêmani. This is the strongest thing that the Lord took on himself in order again to connect us with the Father, to connect the dead with the living one.